Steve and Sharon in Minnesota are high earners. Can they get more money into their Roth IRA without paying more tax? That's today on Your Money, Your Wealth podcast number 455. Also, should Fred in Western New York do Roth conversions before required minimum distributions kick in? If Mike in Utah saves on healthcare premiums now, will that mean large RMDs and tax bills for him later? Should Mark in Maryland do a backdoor Roth after maxing out his 401k? And should Joseph in Kansas contribute to his new employer's traditional or Roth 401k? If you've got money questions or to get a full retirement spitball analysis of your own, go to yourmoneyyourwealth.com, click Ask Joe and Big Al on air, and send us your details. I'm producer Andy Last, and here are the hosts of Your Money, Your Wealth, Joe Anderson, CFP, and Big Al Clopine, CPA.
Got Fred on the line here. He goes, "Hey, Al, Joe, Andy, name's Fred. I've been enjoying your podcast for a little over a year now and find it both informative and entertaining, much more on both fronts than other financial podcasts I've tried in the past. I've turned a couple of my friends onto the podcast, and they enjoy it too." Well, thanks, Fred. Keep up the good work. I'm hoping you can provide a spitball for me. Okay, here we go. He's retired a couple months ago. Bill turning 65 here in a few months. I'm divorced, live in New York, and have two grown children. They are completely launched and off the payroll. Congratulations. I drive a 2019 Subaru Crosstrek.
Crosstrek.
Ooh, Crosstrek. Subaru Crosstrek. I would think someone that drives a Subaru Crosstrek would be from like Portland.
Yeah, or Colorado, right?
Or Colorado.
Need that four-wheel drive to get through the mountains. I don't know. Maybe the snow, right?
I suppose. Okay, drink of choice is either a nice stout while watching my Buffalo Bills or a little Tito's Gimlet on the rocks. A little Gimlet. It's the first Gimlet we've had in a while. Since retiring, I've worked as an engineering consultant, making approximately $20,000 per year. Going forward, I'd like to replace working with a little bit more volunteer and traveling. Tracking my spending, I find I spend roughly $6,000 a month, inclusive of state and federal taxes. Fortunately, my low income since retiring has allowed me to be covered by the New York State's Essential Health Care Plan. All right, so he's got no monthly premium and a $2,000 max out of pocket per year. It's pretty good. This obviously will change as I go into Medicare next year. Currently, I live with my 3-year-old English Springer Spaniel. You know, he's got a house valued at $500,000. There's $160,000 outstanding balance at 2.75% on a 20-year mortgage. No prepayments for me. To cover monthly expenses, I've used a combined of my consulting income and a little bit of cash. I currently have approximately $85,000 in cash in a high-yield interest money market account paying 5%. Beginning next month, I'll start drawing $2,000 a month from 2 annuities I've held for years. Next April, I'll also start drawing $1,000 per month from a pension. Again, I plan to make up any monthly shortfalls for my cash reserves. I don't plan to take Social Security until my full retirement age of 66 and 10 months. Social Security will provide me another $3,600 per month. Barring any big changes now and then, my monthly nut should be covered by the combination of the annuities, my pension, and the Social Security. My retirement nest egg being professionally managed at Fidelity. My holdings include the following. He's got $300,000 in qualified money, another $184,000, or call it $200,000 in a rollover IRA, $22,000 in an inherited IRA, $35,000 in a Roth, and $500 in a brokerage account. Given the high national debt, it's my expectation that current tax rates will have to increase after the current sunset. So my question, do you think it'd be advantageous to start converting my qualified accounts to Roth once I turn 65? Limiting conversions to take me to the top of the 22% tax bracket. I pay any taxes due using funds from my inherited IRA or the funds in my brokerage account. The advantages I see for this approach are twofold. One, lessen my future tax burden, assuming tax rates go up, and 2, reduce taxes due to my beneficiaries for any money I don't consume before passing. An advisor I used in the past told me they didn't see much benefit in my case. I feel there is. Thanks in advance for your spitball. All right.
I just want to say nice job on the advantageous, Joe.
Ooh, Yes. I told you I've been practicing.
Yeah. So it shows.
Practicing my craft.
Yes.
Reading email.
It's showing on certain words.
Yeah. Okay. So Fred's is in a good spot here.
He's in a great spot. I mean, just to summarize, I mean, counting the annuities, he's got $1 million, and then he's got Social Security that's going to pay him about $43,000 a year, right? Pension at $12,000. You just take those two alone without even thinking about the annuities. That's $55,000. He wants to spend 72, or that's what he's currently spending. That shortfall is 17,000. It's a 1.7% distribution rate. If he takes the annuities or not, it still works, right? So this looks good from a retirement standpoint, being able to afford retirement. But the question is, should he go Roth or not? And doesn't have a lot he can convert. He's got 184,000.
500,000.
500,000. Yeah, counting the annuity, correct.
He's got different types of annuities now. He's got this fixed annuity of 290,000, and then he's looking at drawing from a immediate annuity or something like that to get the $2,000 a month. Got it.
Okay. That I didn't get from this, but you're smarter than I am.
So here's his liquid assets. So he's got, I don't know, let's call it $500,000 in retirement accounts. He doesn't necessarily need any of these dollars. He needs a couple of bucks over the next couple of years, right? Until Social Security kicks in. He wants to wait until 66 in 10 months. So there's a little bit of a gap, but he's got plenty of money in a brokerage account and cash.
Yeah.
The question is, does he convert? And so he's 60. How old is he? 65.
65. Yep.
So he's got 10 years. You call $500,000 in 10 years is $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So then you take that $1 million and what's your required minimum distribution? It's about 4%, right? So that's about $40,000 of income. So then you add it to your other current income to figure out, all right, what tax bracket am I going to be in? And in Fred's case, clearly 22% bracket, which was supposed to become 25% in just, 3 years, right?
Yep. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I think he's right on track. It's all right. He's kind of forecasting a little bit. My monthly nut is going to be covered by my fixed income sources. I got $500,000 in qualified plans. Let's say by the time he has to take money from the retirement accounts, just assume his money doubles in 10 years. It could be a lot more than that. It could be a lot less than that, but this is an assumption. So it's $1 million in retirement accounts. He has to take out $40,000 on top of his fixed income. Those RMDs are going to be at the 25% tax rate, or could be higher depending on where tax rates go. He could convert now in the 22. So the question is, would you rather pay tax at 22% and have those dollars compound 100% tax free for you for the rest of your life and your heirs' life? Or do you want to continue to kick the can down the road and pay potentially higher taxes when your RMDs hit?
Yeah. Another way that I think about it is with Social Security and pension, 55,000. So that's equivalent to almost $1.5 million of assets. In other words, $1.5 million times 4%, actually 60,000. But that's roughly, so that's kind of almost like you have $1.5 million already in a retirement account. Then you add the 500 to it. So it's kind of almost like you have a couple million. So if you think of it that way, it's like, yeah, because my RMDs sit on top of all this fixed income. Sure, I'm actually kind of have a tax problem, and you add the income up together. There's no way your Fred isn't going to be in the 22 or future 25% bracket or whatever bracket it becomes. So yeah, 100%. I think Roth conversions make a lot of sense, particularly with all the money in cash and the brokerage account.
Yeah, I would not take money out of the inherit. Well, he has to take the money out of the inherited IRA anyway. That's just going to add to the tax. So you're going to do less conversions if you're using the inherited IRA to pay the tax. I would much rather have you take the money out of the inherited IRA to live off of. He's got 9 more years to liquidate.
Right.
Use cash or the brokerage account, I think, to pay the tax.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if you're taking money out of the inherited IRA, now you're just increasing your taxable income, which means you can do less Roth conversion.
There are several actions you can take to lower your 2023 tax bill, including a Roth conversion, but you've only got about 6 weeks left to do them. Register now and attend our live free end-of-year tax planning webinar tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, with Pure Financial's tax planning manager, Amanda Cook, CPA. Learn about the strategies that can help you reduce your tax liability and which ones fit for your specific needs and goals. Plus, get all your tax questions answered live and in person tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Click the link in the description of today's episode in your favorite podcast app now to go to the show notes and sign up. And don't forget to tell your friends.
Got Mike from Utah. He goes, hello, I've been enjoying your podcast for the last couple of years, and this is one of my go-to podcasts while hiking in the mountains.
Nice.
Wow. Well, Mike's in a beautiful mountain in Utah.
Yeah, that'll be prettier than ours. I can almost guarantee it.
He's 61 years old. He's been retired for about 3 years. His wife, 62, retired 2 years ago. He drives a 2023 Chevy Bolt EV and a 2024 Corvette Stingray.
Nice.
Ew.
Wow, that's quite a gamut of cars, right?
Yeah, a little midlife. we have a couple of drinks on the weekend, cheap rum and Diet Coke for me, and my wife prefers a little Tito in Crystal Light.
Another Tito's.
Our current expenses are $5,000 a month. We fund these expenses with cash we pulled from the market about 3 years ago. We have no outstanding debt, including the house. Our current plan is for wife to start Social Security in 5 years at 67 with the benefit of $2,000 a month. I would wait 9 years until 70 with the benefit of $3,500 or $4,500 a month. I will receive a small pension of $11,000 per year, not adjusted for inflation going forward at age 65. Our portfolio is as follows. Non-retirement accounts. Let's see. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 650 in non-retirement accounts. Roth IRA, Big Al, 1.2 million.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Giant.
Congrats, Mike.
I mean, very rarely do we see a Roth IRA that large.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you saw one over $1 million? I mean, it's unusual.
Very unusual.
Mike's been listening to this show for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
IRA, he's got $800,000 in an IRA. He's got also annuity at $360,000, another HSA of $30,000. Okay. All right. While we do not include any potential inheritance for our financial planning, it's reasonable to expect to inherit about $1.2 million in current dollars within the next 10 years. We have been doing Roth conversions to the top of the 12% tax bracket and paying federal state taxes on cash on hand. So how old is Mike?
61.
Oh, 61. So he's been retired for how long? 2 years, couple years?
3 years.
3 years.
All right. And so he's been converting to the top of the 12, and he's got 1.2 million in Roths. All right. Yeah. As a result, we are able to get a high deductible health and dental insurance policy for about $245 a month through the healthcare marketplace. We're planning to continue these Roth conversions until my wife's Social Security starts at 5 years, then reevaluate the impact of taxes on our Social Security income. We have hesitant on doing larger Roth conversions and move it up to the 22% tax bracket, as we do not see our taxable income increasing significantly in the coming years, or at least until RMDs start. And then that will move us into the 22% tax bracket. The larger Roth conversions would likely result in an increase of $12,000 for healthcare premiums for the next 3 years until my wife can start Medicare at 65. We are concerned that we are saving some money on healthcare premiums, staying in that 12% tax bracket at the expense of large RMDs in the future. Any spitball in our situation would be appreciated. Keep up the good work. Mike from Utah. All right, we get this question often.
We do.
Here's what happens. People save a ton of money, but we don't see this where people saved a ton of money and they already have 1.2 million in a Roth. It's
right.
Usually they have a couple $1 million in a retirement account, and then they have some money in cash in a brokerage account. And so they might retire a little bit early. And so they qualify for the Affordable Care Act or some credits, or just like the other caller had some credits from the state of New York. Mike has got a cheap healthcare plan with good benefits. He's like, man, if I increase my adjusted gross income, that's going to kick me out of these benefits where I'm going to have to pay higher for my healthcare. So what should I do? Should I just kind of bite the bullet and maybe increase my income to get money into a Roth IRA to reduce my future tax liability? But then I'm also going to lose the benefit of the healthcare. So you have to do the math on both sides of the equation, I guess.
Yeah. So in other words, if you have $12,000 more in healthcare, you just add that to the tax that you're going to pay to figure out your effective rate. And I'm going to say, without doing that calculation, this is what I would do. I would keep doing the small conversions till I hit 65. And then once I go on Medicare, it doesn't matter. Right. So then I
Well, it
would do,
matters. You got Irma.
I know, but it doesn't matter as much. I mean, it doesn't, you're right. It does matter, but I would do some bigger conversions. And you, so Mike has about 800,000 to work with that he's trying to convert, which is, it's a good sum. If he doesn't do anything by the RMD age, it's going to probably be $1.5 million to 2 million, maybe, depending upon the market. I think it makes sense to keep doing it. But that's what I would do. I would do my bigger conversions after I was taking Medicare. So I'm not part of this federal subsidy. And yes, it's going to increase my Medicare premiums. I understand that. But the increase in Medicare premiums is a lot less than the $12,000. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, if he stays in the 22% tax bracket. But he also has to realize, too, is that tax rates are potentially going to go up. So just do the math. If he goes a little bit higher than that 12%, I don't know what the subsidies start at, and I don't know what his taxable income is. So you could play with the numbers there too. I don't know if it's at the state marketplace is what he's referring to in Utah, or is that a federal? Is he talking about the Affordable Care Act on the federal side?
Well, I think it's the same thing, the Affordable Care Act, but it's run by the state exchange. So I think that's what he's talking about. He's getting subsidies from the feds for the state-run insurance. I think that's what he's talking about. But
I forget what those limits are. Maybe you go to the top because you see the top of the 12% tax bracket. But could you jump in a little bit into the 22 and still get the subsidies?
As a married couple, I don't think so. If I recall, it's around $20,000 for a person. A couple would be about 40,000. I might be a little off, or no. Let's see. No, I said that wrong. I think it's $20,000 for a couple, but then you multiply that by 400% to get to 80. And once you hit 80,000, roughly in rough numbers, then you hit this cliff where you get no benefit whatsoever.
Got it. So it looks like
yeah,
got a lot handle on it than I do.
Well, you are right, Joe. I mean, just do the math and find out what makes the most sense. Future tax brackets versus now. But that's probably what the conclusion I would come to is smaller conversions till 65, bigger ones after. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I figure you might have a different answer.
I do, because, well, first of all, he's got several $1 million, or at least a couple $1 million. And I think the subsidy program wasn't necessarily built for people that had a couple $1 million, but I get you got to, you can plan and save and do all of those things. So God bless you.
You can make that argument, but there's also the argument that these benefits are here for those that can take advantage of them. And so why not, right?
Yeah, he's doing good planning.
Yeah.
However, I would run the numbers. I think sometimes people trip over dollars to pick up pennies.
I would agree with that statement.
If he's got longevity, and he already knows the power of tax-free because he's done a phenomenal job of getting over $1 million in a Roth IRA. So he's still young enough where you get the compounding effect of tax-free dollars. I mean, it's huge. It's the purchasing power of those dollars are going to be worth more in the future. So I would just look at it to say, hey, yeah, I might have to spend a little bit more by doing these conversions, but if I believe that tax rates are going to go up, and if I want to have a lot more flexibility, or if I want to leave a legacy tax-free to the next generation, I mean, there's a lot more things that he should be considering versus $12,000 today versus whatever in the future, because I think the future benefit is probably going to be larger. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know him with Adam. I don't know what his goals are, and I don't know anything besides that.
Yeah, so I disagree, but that's cool. And I think also, Joe, people that have saved this well, right? It's hard to bypass a benefit of 12 grand.
For sure. Right. That's why he's got several $1 million.
Correct. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to flip that switch. So anyway, we have a slightly difference of opinion, but there's no wrong answer. Mike, you're in a great spot no matter what you do.
All right. Congrats, Mike, and enjoy the hike in the mountains. Got Mark from MD from Maryland. Hey, Joe, Big Al, Andy. Wife and I drive boring company cars. All right. So Mark, he used to drink anything and everything, but eventually had to pass that baton to the younger and more spirited generation due to health reasons. That's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad.
The wife likes the occasional glass, sometimes the whole bottle of Chardonnay. Spitball. Where to invest after maxing out the 401k? Okay, so Mark, he's 59. He makes 120 grand a year. He's got 750. He's got $1 million in retirement accounts. His spouse is 62. She makes 160,000, and she's got $1.2 million in retirement accounts. So keep it score about $2.5 million, $2.2 million in retirement accounts.
Right.
You got a home of 500,000, no mortgage. Got joint account, $2 million at Vanguard. After-tax mutual funds, E-Trade account with some individual stocks. Got 600,000 in cash-like stuff. Have maxed out $30,000 each in our employer 401k plan. So now what? All right, so here's some bullet points. We cannot make a front door Roth IRA contribution. All right, so let's see. What's his total income? $280,000 minus 25 minus 60 will get him to just under the limit.
It's close, but he's got $2 million in brokerage, so it's probably capital gains, interest, dividends, I'm guessing.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with that. We cannot make a Roth 401k contribution. Okay, I don't know why you can't. Is it because
maybe
the company doesn't allow it?
I'm guessing
doesn't have one.
Doesn't have a Roth option. Most companies do, though.
I know. I would double check with your HR to see if you have a Roth provision in the 401k plan.
Yeah, me too. Or if you don't, first of all, you work for one of the few companies that doesn't have one, but why not try to lobby to get one?
So, yeah. God, with 60,000, I would like to look at his tax return.
Yeah.
Because he might be able to squeeze in some Roth contributions.
Close. It's close. I agree.
Because what's the AGI limits for Roth is 218 to 228. So call it 220 to 230. He's at 280 minus 60 plus the standard deduction. So, or Machi.
Yeah. Maybe it just depends upon the
interest dividends.
Capital gains, all that stuff.
Okay. So Roth 401k contribution, double check your employer, see if you can do that. Can either of us make a backdoor Roth conversion? I would have a problem with the pro rata rule, but can my wife? Yes, she can. Even though she's fully funding her 401k plan, she does not have any IRAs. So she could do a non-deductible IRA and then convert that into a Roth without paying tax because it's an after-tax contribution.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, Joe, you can max out a 401k, but still max out an IRA or Roth contribution or backdoor Roth contribution.
Let's see. What about a post-tax 401k contribution? Well, if you don't have a Roth provision, do you think he's got a post-tax?
Yeah, that would be super unlikely. I mean, most plans have Roth provisions, but very few have the after-tax. Some do.
So, all right. He's looking at after-tax contributions. So if you're doing an after-tax contribution into the 401k plan, those after-tax dollars could be converted directly into a Roth IRA without paying any tax as well. So it's just like a backdoor Roth contribution. You've already paid the tax on the dollars. Those dollars go into a Roth IRA and then compound tax-free, the same as a after-tax contribution into a 401k. So he goes, there's a contribution limit of 73,500 minus, Joe, this is a minus sign. Thank you. Pre-tax contribution less employer matching. I changed it to less just in case there was any confusion. Yeah,
he's got minus and less in his sentence.
Yeah, he's a little smart pants.
Right.
He's ribbon on me, which I enjoy. Keep it up. This grows tax-free, but we'll have to come out with RMDs, correct? No, they changed the rules with Roth 401ks. I forget when that starts. Next year?
Yeah, I believe you're right. But it's either next year or year. I don't know, but it's soon.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're going to retire or you have time before your RMDs, let's say if I had Roth money in a 401k today, I would just move those Roth 401k dollars into a Roth IRA. That would avoid the RMD entirely. Or if I have the Roth 401k and I'm not going to be RMD age or my required beginning date is not for several years, then don't worry about it because they've already changed the law. In a couple of years, there won't be any RMDs out of the Roth 401k.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Okay. Also, I have to track basis in this style of investing to get any benefit? No. He's thinking, well, it depends, because some of the dollars might come out pro rata. But on your 401k statement, you're going to see pre-tax and post-tax dollars. And so let's say I had $100,000 in my retirement account on my statement, because I have Roth provision in our 401k. So I have pre-tax and I have post-tax. And when I look at the statement, it's going to say 50,000 Roth, 50,000 regular, unleaded, whatever, right? So you already know how much money that you have in regards to basis. So if your plan is going to come out pro rata, this is where the distribution rules get funny depending on the plan documents. Because if it comes out pro rata, let's say you take $1 out, well, 50 cents is going to be tax free and 50 cents is going to be taxable, because you have 50% of the account in Roth, 50% of the account in pre-tax. So some 401k plans say, all right, it's got to come out pro rata. Other accounts are going to be, you'll be able to choose and pick and say, no, I want to take a distribution, but I want to take the distribution from the Roth, or I want to take the distribution from pre-tax, or here's a percentage that I want to take out in pre-tax versus Roth. So you're going to have to do a little bit deeper look on your plan document. That's why I think it always makes sense just to roll the money into IRAs, because then you don't have one account with pre-tax and post-tax in it that could get confusing as you're taking money out.
Yeah, and the mechanism for that is when you roll it out to an IRA, the pre-tax part goes to the IRA, the Roth part goes to the Roth IRA. So then it's completely separate. You can do what you want.
All right, let's see. I think that's it. Thanks a lot for the question, Mark from Maryland. I'm glad you love the show. Do you think a Roth 401k would be a better strategy for 2024 and 2025? Yeah, go for it. You're in the 28% tax bracket. You don't have any Roth money? I think so.
Yeah. I mean, for people that can afford it, Mark is in the 24% bracket, which is a great bracket based upon what other income and assets he already has. So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Let's talk for a second about the word recession. Does it make you want to run for the hills, or do you look for a golden opportunity? Uncertain market conditions have some pundits forecasting a recession, which can impact your portfolio and your ability to retire. And taking the wrong actions during a recession can take decades to recover from, and it can delay your retirement. Watch How to Build a Recession-Proof Portfolio on YMYW TV and download the companion guide for free from the podcast show notes. Learn the signs of a recession, how to position your portfolio accordingly, and how to prepare to grow your wealth regardless of the economy and market conditions. Click the link in the description of today's episode in your favorite podcast app to go to the show notes, watch How to Build a Recession-Proof Portfolio, and download the Recession Protection Guide, all free, all yours, courtesy of Your Money, Your Wealth.
Got a little email coming in from the homeland here, Big Al. We got Steve and Sharon from Roseville, Minnesota.
Wow. You know where that is?
I do know where Roseville is.
I bet you do.
Yep. Dear Andy Joe, now I have a question about asset location. My biggest worry is that I don't have enough money in tax-free Roth accounts, and it's going to cause issues after we retire. Well, that's no good. Early in my career, my income went above the limit to contribute to a Roth IRA, so there isn't much in there now. I'm wondering if we should do backdoor Roth. Okay, sure. Everyone loves the backdoor.
They do.
We haven't really talked about backdoor Roths lately. It's coming back.
Making a comeback, huh?
Yep. Start investing in my company's Roth 401k instead of a regular 401k. Or just wait until we retire and our income tax rate is lower to do more backdoor Roth. I think he means conversion.
Yeah, I think so.
We currently have $6.4 million in assets, of which $465,000 in cash. $6 million is invested in $1 million in my wife's rollover 401k or rollover IRA. He's got $2 million in his 401k. He's got $800,000 in a brokerage account, $400,000 in the ESOP, 65 and 529s, 30,000 in my wife's simple, 32,000 in my wife's SEP, $25,000 in Roth IRAs, 20,000 in IRAs, and 20,000 in HSAs, and 1.6 in our house that's paid off. Congrats, man.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Killing it in Roseville. Our investment mix is 70% stocks, 20 bonds, 5 alternatives, 5% cash. We also draw $18,000 per year from a $1 million NIMCRUT. Uh-oh. You're getting sophisticated here.
He is. Net investment makeup, charitable remainder unit trust.
I was going to say, that's an acronym I have not heard before.
It's a mouthful.
NIMCRUTs. Remember NIMCRUTs, bud?
Yeah, I do, right? We had some clients, whether they did the net income CRUT or the net income makeup CRUT.
Yes.
Or what was the one that changed midstream? The flip CRUT.
No,
remember that?
CRUT. Yeah, flip CRUT. Yep.
Yeah, we still use those.
Yeah, Al and I were on the road show. This is prior to the real estate crash of 2008. Real estate was going through the roof. Everyone here in Southern California just wanted to be a real estate guru.
Right. Myself included.
Yeah. We were talking about how to get rid of highly appreciated real estate tax efficiently. So we're doing these workshops all over Southern California. And the people that would show up there, they'd be like, why on earth would you want to invest in anything else but real estate? You know how much money I made in real estate and everything else? And then just like 6 months, 8 months later, boop,
they lost everything.
There goes your net worth, brother. People would say, oh, I would never invest in the stock market because I can drive by my house and
I can touch it. Right.
I can touch the grass. You can't touch stock. Oh my God.
Yeah,
crazy.
We heard that a lot. So we talked about
I can smell it. I can kiss it.
Yeah. We talked about charitable remainder trust quite a bit because that is a really good vehicle if you have a highly appreciated property that you want to sell and not pay current taxation. Another day, another topic. But anyway, that's what that is.
Yep. And so this was created 5 years ago. So our buddy from Roseville, Minnesota, he had highly appreciated company stock. And he used those funds to pay for a $2 million whole life insurance policy for his kids at $9,000 annually. We don't count this in our net worth for investments. Okay. He's 54.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you set up a NIMCRUT in a life insurance policy second to die at 50?
It seems a little early, but I have seen that before, Joe. I have
50.
seen that. Yeah.
All right. Some master planning there.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of stuck with that strategy.
You know? Do you think he met with our friend Mark K and went over this?
He could have. I wonder if he's got a QPERT.
Pretty sure he does.
Oh, all right. So he's 54. He's making $300,000 a year. 2019 Ford Raptor. Ooh, drink a little rye whiskey, old fashions. My wife's 48 years old, self-employed, $100,000 a year, drives a 2019 Volvo XC90. That sounds pretty sexy. Is that Volvo instructable SUV? I believe.
Instructable?
I mean, that's why you buy Volvos, right? Because you probably get
indestructible. Got it.
They're safe. Yeah, or you could say they're very safe.
Yeah, you might be prone for car accidents. So
yeah,
pretty safe.
Yep.
We have 2 kids, 13 and 11, and burn about $150,000 a year in expenses. I plan to retire before 60, my wife before 55. With our tax rate at 37%, I struggle to put money in towards Roth. Spitball is appreciated on our asset location question. Steve and Sharon from Roseville. All right. Well, congratulations first on 48 and 54. They're doing quite well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Gosh, I still don't, man. Taking $1 million out of your estate 5 years ago, 49 years old, right. And then you're just looking to pass that money to the kid. So he's going to have to fund that policy for quite some time.
You know where I saw this from someone younger, and this was years ago. It's when the estate tax exemption was 600,000. Yeah. Now that it's 13 million per person, roughly. Yeah. You don't see this so much anymore.
But anyway, he got a tax deduction. I don't know what he did with the tax deduction when he put the money into the NIMCRUT. Maybe just saved some money on the ordinary income that was coming in with him and his wife.
Probably. Yep.
A few things that I see. I would change the wife's 401k. I mean, to the SEP and the simple, unless she has employees. You can change that to a 401k plan. And then you could do a profit sharing on top of that. You have $800,000 in a brokerage account, so she could fund a 401k plan, and then she could also do a profit sharing plan on top of that. So part of that would be, let's say, a solo Roth 401k, and then she could still get pre-tax dollars in. So it's basically you're taking money from the brokerage account, and you're just trying to put that into a Roth account by keeping your taxes neutral. So if you're in the 37% tax bracket, right? How do I get money into the Roth IRA without paying more in tax? Or another way to say it, let's say his tax bill last year was $100,000, just hypothetical. How can I keep that tax bill $100,000 and get as much money into the Roth IRA as possible? That's one way to do it. You're just kind of manipulating the taxes by setting up different types of accounts, especially for his wife that is self-employed. But he's 54 and she's 48. They're young. Right? And I would get money in the Roth IRA. You're not going to miss the tax deduction. I would try to jam as much money in. I'm in a decent tax bracket. And I don't care about the tax deduction today because I don't want to pay taxes in the future. I'm ripping off the Band-Aid. I don't care. I'm not going to miss the tax deduction. The few $1,000s that I save in tax today, I'm going to make that up in the future, and I'm going to be that much more happy by looking at this giant pool of cash that's going to come to me tax-free.
Yeah. I probably would do it differently.
Yeah, because you're a CPA.
In the highest brackets, I would go for the deduction. And then if I was going to retire in 5 or 6 years, at age 60, I got 15 years to convert this stuff in lower brackets. That's what I would do.
He's got $3 million, Al.
I know. It's a big number. I get it. But anyway, that's what I would do. I would probably, let's see, I guess we didn't even talk about whether there's a after-tax component of the 401k. That would be a good thing to get a whole bunch of money in, that mega Backdoor Roth, and get money into a Roth that way. Another thought I had while looking at this, which is unrelated to a Roth, but still important, is it sounds like maybe with an ESOP account, there's a company that was pretty successful. Do you have company stock in your 401k? Is it a public company? If so, you might qualify for an NUA, net unrealized appreciation, where when you retire, the stock gets taken out of your 401k, put into your brokerage account, and you only pay current tax, ordinary income tax, on what your cost basis is, what you paid for that stock. And then the capital gain part, when you actually sell the stock, is at capital gain rate. So don't know enough about your situation, Steve.
I already know what happened to Steve and Sharon here.
You do?
Yep. Because of the ESOP plan, there was a liquidity event in his company 5 years ago, and he got company stock. I'm guessing. I have no idea who the hell these people are, but they're from Minnesota, so I feel a connection here.
Yeah.
And so they got the $1 million, and they got the big estate planning attorney and the broker. They came in and they did a little dog and pony show, and they were like, this is what you do to avoid taxes in this liquidity event that you're going to have. You're going to set up a NIMCRUT. We're going to put the company stock in the NIMCRUT. You're going to sell it. You're not going to pay any tax. And then we're going to distribute the money out to you. But if you die prematurely, guess what? All that money goes to charity. So we're going to set up a wealth replacement trust.
Yes.
There, you're going to pay a premium with this wealth replacement trust, and you could take some of the money from the NIMCRUT and fund that wealth replacement trust, because if you die prematurely, then the heirs are going to receive $2 million versus the $1 million that's in the account.
Yes,
So
I think you're right.
Exactly what happened.
I think you're right on that part, 100%. I'm just suggesting if there's a public company and there's company stock in the 401k, you might want to look at an NUA. But you know what? His question was on asset location.
Well, he's talking about tax diversification.
Yeah.
So he wants more money into a Roth IRA. Should I get more money in a Roth IRA? Is it a 37% tax bracket? He's got $6 million. He's got very little in Roth. Yes, put the money into the Roth. You're young. Jam it in there. I don't care. That's what I would do.
And I would say, wait till you retire, then do huge conversions for 15 years. That's what I would probably do.
I would slowly, because he doesn't have that much money in a brokerage account if he retires at 55, or she's going to retire at 55, 60, I suppose, that would work. But all right. Thanks for the question, Steve and Sharon. Joe and Big Al. This is Joseph from Wichita, Kansas. I really appreciate your show. My CPA friend suggested about a year ago, and I've been listening religiously since. Well, thank you, CPA friend, and thank you, Joseph. Currently listening as I clean out my apartment, drinking an ice cold Keystone Light. Oh, yeah. No Keystone. I'm a simple man, but will also drink whatever's put in my face. No, Joseph. I don't know if I can go that far. I can't. I mean, I got to draw the line.
Like a double IPA?
Yeah, there's no way I would drink that. I'd much rather have an ice water.
Water, yeah, I hear you.
My wife and I are moving, and I took a new job in the private sector after working for a local government the past 3 years. In my previous job, my employer did not contribute, but I was required to contribute 4% of the state retirement program. I knew I would not be working under the retirement program for long and wouldn't be vested. My question, based on our finances below, would it be smart to begin a Roth or normal 401k with my new employer? Got a little theme going.
Yeah, we do.
They will match 6% with an extra 3% added at the end of the year due to our larger allocation of Roth. With setting up my new retirement pre-tax balance, our tax allocation more effectively or efficiently. We would like to retire around 55 and spend about $100,000 a year in today's dollars. We currently spend $31,000 a year and save and invest $54,000 a year. I'm 29. Wife is 28.
Boom.
Wow. Look at you. Look at the big wallet on Joseph here from Wichita.
Yeah, that's
impressive. Live off of $31,000 a year. That is
in Wichita.
San Diego. That wasn't there just something everyone's like bitching about.
San Diego's like the most expensive place in the country to live. I think it was a headline.
Who said that? Yeah. Was that someone from San Diego that was, or was that a national publication?
I assume it was a publication. I didn't read it. I just heard that from Annie. So my source is my wife.
All right. He's got cash of 100,000.
Oh, guess who? U.S. News and World Report is the one that said that we were the number one spot in the most expensive places to live.
Okay. Wow. Okay. We top the list. Okay.
So he's got, let's see. All right. 100,000 in cash. He's got 65,000 in wife's Roth. He's got 13,000 in his Roth. Brokerage account of 37,000. Excuse me. He got $20,000 in the wife rollover. And he's got a current retirement to be transferred to the new 401k of $12,000. My wife makes $55,000 a year. I make $80,000. We're debt free. Vehicles are GMC Canyon and Honda Tucson.
Tucson.
Okay. Joe, drink some Keystone. Oh, you know me, brother. I'll drink some Keystone with you. Would appreciate any spitball about my new 401k situation or financial situation in general. Thanks in advance for your hard work. All right. What's he got total, Big Al?
He's got, call it 250.
250, saving 50,000 a year. He is 29 years old, would like to retire at age, what, 50 something, he said?
Yeah, 55.
At 55. Okay. Wants to spend $100,000 a year. Let's do some math for our friend Joseph.
Okay, I'll do it too. 250, 55. You want to go 6 or 7%?
7%, I like.
7%. And we'll call it, let's just round it to 25 years, huh?
Sure.
So I get 4.8 million.
I got 5.7.
Let's see, 25 years, 7%, 250s to start, 55. Yeah, 4.8.
Yeah, 4.74. Okay. Sorry, okay. I hit the wrong button or something. All right, 4.7 million. If
call it 5 million, right?
$5 million. 4 times 5 is 20. So he could pull out $200,000, 100,000. I mean, yeah, I think he's on track.
Yeah, pretty
back of the envelope. I think if he could save 50 grand a year, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what percentage of that of their total income are they saving? I mean, 80 and 60 of 50 divided by 140, 36%. Yep. I mean, that's a huge number, Joseph.
That's giant.
I mean, that's the key. If you could save 35% of your income, your gross income, not your net.
Right.
I mean, you're going to be able to be very successful financially down the road.
Yeah, 100% agree. And everything should go in a Roth, 100%. Because at your age and the years that this can grow compound, that's what I would do. And I think Joe will agree 100% with me. Everything that you can put in a Roth, please do.
Yep. Compound tax free, 50 grand a year if you can do it. Keep pumping away and just keep looking at it, monitoring it. We have a globally diversified portfolio, 100% stocks at this point, and then slowly, take on a little bit less risk as you get closer to your retirement date. And I think you're right there. He doesn't have to worry about some crazy distribution strategy from a tax perspective because everything is going to come out tax free for him.
It's like you're done, right? You're all set.
Yep. Yeah, if everyone could call us, in their 20s, and then we could fast forward 25 years.
And you have to be able to save $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Then we can help you. It's very easy.
Yeah. Here's the caveat. All right. Is that it? That's it for us. Andy, wonderful job. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Keep your questions coming. We're slowly getting through them. Be patient.
I think we still have about 40 of them. So, yeah, definitely be patient is key right now, but keep sending them in. We will get to them eventually, right?
Yeah, we'll get to them. Maybe you just do a little bit longer episodes. What do we do?
Yeah.
45 minutes? Maybe we do 55. We can answer one more question a week.
Yeah, probably so. Yep.
Okay. All right. Al, when do you get back from Hawaii?
In about a week and a half.
All right. Well, enjoy, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. We'll see you next week, folks. That's it for us.
Calling out other financial podcasts, Springer Spaniels, listening to podcasts while hiking around San Diego County, Tito's and Crystal Light, Tang, Malibu Rum and Spam, company cars and vans, Hawaii versus My Studio, and Joe's grandma drinking Keystone in the Derails. So stick around to the end of the episode. Help new listeners find YMYW by telling your friends about the show and by leaving your honest reviews and ratings for Your Money, Your Wealth in Apple Podcasts and any other podcast app that accepts them. Your Money, Your Wealth is presented by Pure Financial Advisors. Click the Get an Assessment button in the podcast show notes at yourmoneyyourwealth.com or call 888-994-6257 to schedule your free financial assessment in person at one of our many offices around the country or online at a date and time convenient for you no matter where you are. Chances are one of the experienced financial professionals at Pure will be able to identify strategies to help you create a more successful retirement. Pure Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the securities or services discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full and informed investment decision.
Informative and entertaining. Much more on both fronts than other financial podcasts I've tried in the past. Wish that people start throwing out names.
Yeah,
you want to throw other shows under the bus?
No, I'm just, I like
just
to
curious.
Just curious.
Well, we don't have to read them on the air just to know what they are, right?
No. I'd like to know what, our listeners are listening to besides where the other information is coming from. I can't help me
Springer
out.
Spaniel.
Springer Spaniel.
There you go.
I haven't said that in a long time.
Yeah, let's, after this show, let's practice that.
Springer Spaniel.
Springer Spaniel. Say it 5 times fast.
Yeah.
You like to listen to podcasts when you're hiking in the mountains?
I've never hiked
and you never listen to podcasts. No, I know you listen to podcasts, but yeah, that's an interesting thing. I wouldn't have thought of, and I like to hike, but I don't really listen to podcasts when I do.
You go in the mountains?
I do hike in the mountains sometimes.
No. Yeah. No. What mountains are around here? There's no mountains around here, is there?
In San Diego? Well, there's Idlewild.
Like Mount Soledad?
Well, not in this. There's nothing in the city. You'd have to go to like Cuyamaca State Park. Yeah. Would be the closest, and then you could go to mountains. San Jacinto State Park. A lot of trails there around Idlewild. Big Bear. A lot of trails around there.
Where do you go, Andy?
Yeah, to Mission Trails or Cuyamaca area, Laguna Mountain.
All right. Yeah, Crystal Light. Huh? I wonder if she makes the Crystal Light before she puts it in the Tito's. Or do you think she just puts the powder in and throws down the Tito's and that's the mixer?
How would you do it? How would you do it?
I would probably just put the powder and then throw in the booze and shake it. Something like that. I had a Tang in Malibu back in high school. Remember Tang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that the astronauts drink?
I think, the orange kind of.
Yeah. That's how it was advertised. It's good enough for astronauts, right?
I thought I was going to be an astronaut.
Okay, got it. You started young.
So, a buddy of mine would drink Tang in Malibu.
Okay.
It's probably
Malibu
the worst.
Rum?
Yeah, Malibu rum.
Yeah.
And I still can't drink Malibu rum today. The most disgusting. It's coconut.
It's because you had tang in it.
Yeah, I know. We needed to cut it or something.
Actually, coconut rum is amazing.
Is it
But not straight. I mean, you have to mix it with other fruit
Tang?
juice. Yeah, not tang. Let's go Mai Tai. I'm thinking more Mai Tai, guava, passion fruit. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a little Malibu tang and some Spam a little bit today.
You know, Spam is big in Hawaii.
Is it? Yeah. Well, the home is Minnesota, Hormel.
Is that right? Okay.
My old man was a big Spam guy. We always had just cans of it.
So you've got quite a connection with the folks in Hawaii, then. I will say.
Yeah. I'll just bring some Spam.
You'll be loved.
So what do you think of Spam now, Joe?
I don't mind it. I can still.
Oh wow, I've never had it. So.
Yeah, I could throw down some Spam.
Spam
sandwich?
As a
Are you
kid,
serious about Tang Malibu rum and Spam?
Yeah. As a kid, I used to love it. And nowadays, when I looked at the ingredients, it's like, no, it's not for me.
Well, so you look at I suppose being a vegan, you have to look at everything?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to be 100% vegan, but that definitely is not something that's going to promote health in your body. I'll put it that way.
Come on.
Sorry, Spam fans, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, just rub some dirt on it.
Maybe grab some leaves from a palm tree or fronds from a palm tree or whatever.
Ever have a company car, Big Al?
No, I never got one. But you know what? Boring or not, it's free. So go for it. I think that's a great car.
Yeah.
My first ever job in radio, I had to drive the radio station van. I'd never driven a van before, and had to take it to promotions and go get it washed and all that sort of thing. And driving a huge, enormous van when you're like 18 years old, was a little bit scary. That was my experience with a company car.
Yeah.
Well, I drove a van in Italy last year, which was enough to almost kill me, driving through the narrow streets of Florence in a van with like 7 people watching me.
Cobblestone streets, yeah.
Yeah. And then I also drove a van in New Zealand, which was an interesting experience, being that you're on the other side of the street, right? You drive on the left. And so, so I think I'm good with vans now. I think I'm retired from vans.
Is this van talk?
It is.
Got it.
Yeah, just...
it started as company car talk.
Got it.
It did. But no, I never had a company car. Did you, Joe?
I used to plow some snow, so I would have a pickup truck that had a plow on it. So kind of. When it snowed, I did, but besides
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I thought you were going to say the snowplow was your company car.
Yeah, well, it kind of was, but it was a pickup truck with just a blade on the front of it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, or kind of like a bigger Ford 150, F-150.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Big Al's in Hawaii. How's it in the islands there, bud?
Oh, it's beautiful. Today is perfectly sunny, just lovely. In fact, I wish I was swimming, but I'm here doing a radio show with you, so I will get there.
Got it. I'm just sweating in this office cave of a studio.
Yeah. Yes, it is a small studio.
Andy, how did you work in this thing? This thing, no windows.
Joe, you put me there. You tell me.
I think you picked it.
Oh, did I? Right. Okay.
Well, it was either that or the closet.
It was a closet at the time. It was used for storage.
No, this room gives me the creeps. Oh yeah, the Keystone. That's what my grandma used to drink.
Your grandma?
Yeah, she would pound those like no business.
You come from a long line of drinkers, huh?
Hey, my grandma lived until like 90-something years old. She was smoking a Saratoga cigarette with a little Keystone Light with a straw.
It sounds like it worked for her.
It did.
Yeah.